Welcome to Haunted Grove, a horrific podcast. Haunted Grove is a horror media review podcast with no set schedule, no censorship, and no idea how we got pregnant. Your horrific hosts for this episode are Colin and Adam, and today we're presenting our spoiler review of The Seed, starring Lucy Martin and Chelsea Edge. But even watching the intro there, I'm laughing already.
Like, it was different enough from so many other similar types of films that it felt almost fresh. I don't know. I had a good time with this one.
But that's the whole thing. There's only so many. I keep talking about this, but there's only so many ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
It's how you put the ingredients together to make the dish.
Yeah.
And this proves that you don't have to have a massive budget, A-list Hollywood idiots. You know what I mean? You don't have to take it too seriously, but you can actually make a fun movie.
Yeah. Yeah. This could be seen as like Larry Leisure Suit in space. It's diminutive little cute little creature that's just like a sex fiend.
Oh, but do you know what made me laugh? It looks like a turtle.
Yeah.
And they've called it a fucking wombat, a bear, a fucking what else?
Armadillo.
Yeah, they brought that. It's a fucking turtle.
It's so
what the hell?
Funny. And its nose is so ridiculous. Like when it's like in heat, you can tell it's in heat. It's like its pupils dilate bigger. You're just like, ooh, I'm gonna get sticky.
Oh, man.
So, of course, you guys all noticed that we're missing one of the members. We had him deported, so he is no longer in country. Our hearts and minds go out to him. Hopefully, he's having a good time.
Imagine having a life outside the internet.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Like, is this not
people
everything?
do it.
What else do you need?
I know.
Once you have a camera and a microphone, that's your entire life complete. Like, imagine wanting other stuff.
And that actually feeds in perfectly to this film too. Like this idea of generating likes and stuff. Okay, so let's give the log line here. What starts out as girls' weekend away in a Mojave desert becomes a tale of horror, death, and alien invasion. The bookish Bryans, thanks for joining. Good to see you.
Oh, have people in chat?
Well, people, singular person.
No, they're actually a couple.
Oh, really?
Those guys. In fact, we're taking part in Horror Mayhem starting this Friday. So
very cool.
All our stories are featured around that event. These guys started up, so really good folks. They're booktubers, do a lot of great content. So good to have his own guys. Sorry, I can't see chat. I don't wanna. Maybe I should bring it up.
You might want to, just in case. Just in case they want to talk. Actually, no, don't. Start talking smack about him. He won't be able to see it. All right, so
this keyboard warrior thing, eh?
Yeah. This is a 2021 body horror feature film. It's a directorial debut of Sam Walker, who also wrote the script. He has cited Nicholas Roeg's The Man Who Fell to Earth and John Carpenter's The Thing and Eraserhead, in addition to the art of the painter Ambera Wellman for the inspiration of the film itself. And after having looked at Ambria Wellman's artwork, yeah, I can see it.
I was about to say, I got it right up until that last one. I'm not too familiar with her.
Mm-hmm.
Is it her?
No.
I don't know.
But, I had no idea who it was until I clicked the link, just did a Google search, and then I was like, oh, okay. I don't think I've ever seen the work before, but I can see the inspiration in the film, 100%. So the cast is Lucy Martin is Deidre, Chelsea Edge is Charlotte. These are the two main ones. So Deidre is the sort of asshole girl. Charlotte's like the down home, she doesn't want to be on social media.
The pseudo rock chick without actually being a rock chick.
Almost like the 90s rock chick if she didn't like rock, but liked it ironically.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then Sophie Vavasour as Heather. We have a cameo with Jamie Whitbrood as this young kid, Brett.
Oh, God.
Who just loves chewing like
a cow. He was brilliant, actually.
Well, he was perfect for what he did. And then I love that there's this, we're going to get into it, but there's this wonderful scene where in order to get rid of this creature, he barters for a kiss. And like the girl is just like really into it. which was, it was
But
this effect
did
of
you notice
the
that's
alien.
when the creature opens his eyes? That's when we notice that there's something going on.
Oh yeah, and the music is a
So
good cue for it too. But anyway, he
always
did
so.
great, I thought. Anthony Edgeridge is the cowboy. He played his role. Not sure it was necessary, but it was there. And then Shirley Pisani as Edna, who only had a single scene with her head blown off, but also we're going to talk about that in a little bit here, but I think it was necessary to have that scene because it set the stage for the gravity of what was to come. Anyway, let's sort of set this up. Do you want to walk us through the premise here?
So we'll start off. The strange thing is they're getting a taxi to this remote hideout. I didn't quite understand that, but
it'd be the most expensive taxi ever.
that would, what I mean? You'd be cheaper getting a helicopter. Do you know what I mean? You can do, especially that area, can you do tourist helicopters for like $300?
Really?
So it'd probably be cheaper to get a price. Yeah, I think so. Like the tourist ones do an hour.
Oh my gosh, we're doing that for Man Camp.
So you know what I mean? You could get a friggin' tourist chopper for probably the same money. Well, it's probably cost them in a taxi, but that part was funny. They didn't drive themselves, but obviously it was necessary for the plot. They dropped off in this amazing house, like mansion, but only has 2 bedrooms because 2 of the girls have to bunk up.
Yeah,
like that made loads of sense.
I don't know. Is it because it was just this massive bed, or that it was only because they had multiple levels, right?
That's what I mean. It was a friggin' mansion with like 2 pool, an indoor pool, an outdoor pool, its own set aside garage.
Yeah.
What was it, like 100 acres? You know what I mean? Loads of land.
It was beautiful.
But they only had 2 bedrooms because 2 of the girls had to bunk up.
I think part of that is, you want to be in proximity to your close friends when you're at, out in the middle of nowhere. The way I saw it, I was just like,
because she wanted her own bedroom and her own floor.
Yeah, but she is a bit of a prima donna. I mean,
she was actually the best actor, and that's the thing. She played the shittiest character, but she was actually the best actress.
So well. I would love to see her on the red carpet so I could see what she's really like. Her sort of natural rhythms, because I was 100% bought and sold to who she was in the film.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she did really, really great. Yeah, I mean, so they get here, and then they're just sort of having a girls' night out. They were planning on doing like a little fashion shoot, and sort of making content for the social media, for Deirdre's social media primarily.
Yeah,
and
well, 2 of them are on social media. Heather as well.
Yeah,
has her own hashtag. They wanted to watch a meteor storm. That was the whole event.
Yeah, but the really interesting part for me was that they knew each other from childhood, and they noticed that Heather and especially Deirdre were changed because of their social media games, because the focus that they're putting on. And I liked that they set that up really early on so that you're not only getting this sort of horror supernatural element or sci-fi element to the film, you're also getting this idea of a friendship fractured and the changes that social media can have on individuals. And I really appreciate that personally, just because of my own history with social media.
Well, we've seen it all firsthand. We've seen these vapid, empty people who have nothing in their life apart from getting so many clicks, as we're sitting on social media trying to make content to get likes and clicks. But hey ho, at least we can step back from it and have a laugh, and
But that's the important part. Too many people take themselves way too seriously.
If I get pissed off, this will all disappear tomorrow, and I'd happily walk away and now and think. But while it's fun to do, and if it don't get, and I'm always got it in the back of my mind, and that's what these girls represent.
Yeah.
Not to go down that rabbit hole. Because the minute you do, you're fucked. You know what I mean? There's no if, buts, or maybes. The minute you become that person, you're done.
Yeah.
Because it's only it's only a downhill spiral. Because especially, I've been reading a lot of philosophical stuff lately, and the whole thing about a woman has a depreciating value in terms of beauty. Because it's only, it's only going to get worse. Become less valuable as the older.
I mean, certainly actors have to, actresses have to deal with that for sure.
Yeah. So hotness and beauty are 2 different things.
Right.
And people that treat hotness have a depreciating value, because as you get older, obviously the old middle age spread starts happening. You're having to work harder. You're having to learn cosmetic surgery, and that's something that can either go really well or really wrong. And you see the old fish lips thing, and really bad plastic surgery it's horrendous. So it's it's a losing game. So to rely on that, and that's what this message, and for once subtly throws in there, You know, it subtly throws in this message that if you're playing a losing game, if this is all you have and you don't have your kid out, you know, yes, fine, have your social media, but have your 2-year plan that you can walk away from it, and it's not everything you require.
Right.
For once, we're not getting beaten over the head with the message. It's just play it in there subtly, and you have to pick it out, and makes you pay a bit more attention as opposed to what's on screen.
Yeah, it's wrapped in such an entertaining package as well. You know, I mean, the entire premise of watching that meteor shower, and then they were like, "Whoa, is that supposed to be doing that?" And then their phones die and sporadically come back and leave again throughout the rest of the film, and you get this sense of total isolation pretty quickly that initial night, mixed with drug use, drinking, and this fractured friendship. You know, it's sort of like it's almost Mean
the drug
Girls.
Use was like the drug use was almost like a band-aid. So they found out they couldn't. Like Deirdre, the actual night of the meteor shower, Deirdre was more concerned about her signal that she wasn't even watching it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? She was actually missing out on the actual.
Yeah, she wanted to create content
and missing out on the experience.
Like, hey, everyone, we're watching a meteor shower, so watch us, not the meteor shower. But no, aliens have different plans. And then we see that turd just sort of drop into the pond. I was waiting for Bill Murray to come walking into the pool.
Well done. That was so well done. And the fact that we're in the pool the next day just made me go, really?
Yeah, like
that thing's dropped in, it's leaking everywhere, and you're like, you're not getting that clean in a day.
Your filter's working.
But the effects to do that, yeah.
The leaking part was what grossed me out the most, I think. It's because ultimately it was continuously shedding that outer shell in a sort of like oily fashion. It reminded me of the black ooze from X-Files from back in the day. And it's just like sort of everywhere and gross. And it was like blue too in some light. So I don't know, the whole thing was really kind of disgusting. And then it got really gross once they brought the thing inside. But before they did that, all they wanted to do was get rid of this thing, of course. And for some reason, Heather was wildly obsessed with being at fault in her father's eyes for this rando event even happening. She was freaking out as if she would be blamed. I don't know any parent that would blame their kid for a meteor falling in their pool.
Yeah, kind of a weird dynamic. So is she a bit of a wild child having parties and the parents can't trust her, but then they wouldn't have let her go to the house?
Yeah.
Is it her, you know, there's a weird dynamic being played there, but you can kind of tell, I think that's the theme of the movie. These people are broken in their own way. All three of them are broken in their own way. And this is almost like a cry for help to try and maybe reconnect or do something. You know what I mean? There's an almost desperation why they're going to this place.
Interesting. I did not pick that up. Yeah.
They're not really having fun.
No, not at all. Like not even at the very beginning, you know, they started smoking and hanging out at the pool, but it quickly went to catfighting.
Yeah. And that's, I don't think it's deliberately, it's not bad acting. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because these are actually, they're playing their parts. It's actually the message of the film. That's what I'm saying. This one actually has a subtle message, which I love. It's like, please give me, this is what I've been begging for last year with all the shit movies I've had to watch. You know, give me something where I actually have to look for the message and pick it out. It's like, yeah, that's what they're saying. That because they become so reliant, and Charlie, they keep calling her, Charlie's so against social media, but then she's almost went the other direction. So she's become broken in her own way too.
Interesting.
So these two have jumped fully in with the whole social media thing.
Oh, yeah.
She's went against it, but also she's went so anti modern world that she's become her own worst enemy as well. You know what I mean? It's
but she was easily drawn into like everything. You know, I mean, whether it was kissing the child, the 15-year-old boy, she's all, but I kissed the child.
I can't wait for us to talk about him.
We'll get there. Or whether it's taking the photo shoot that she didn't want to do at all. You know, we open with Deirdre doing a live stream introducing, you know, basically us to all the cast of characters. And Charlotte was just like, you know, that was very invasive. I don't appreciate that. And yet you're friends and you came here knowing that this is what they're going to do. So, you know, dost thou protest too much? You know, she wants it, but she doesn't want it.
That's what I'm saying. She's went too much the other way. That she's actually, like I said, there's something broken in all three of them, which I think is a wonderful thing. The dynamics play out really well.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was done by accident or this is the clever director, but fair play. That's what I'm getting from it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's
and
clever.
what made me enjoy the movie.
For sure. Well, let's get to the gardener, because ultimately, once this thing like sort of sheds its shell, everyone's disgusted by it. They have no idea what it is. It starts crying out in the night, and Charlotte goes out to try to take care of it. Gives it Deirdre's milkshake or whatever it
Who
was.
brings one protein shake?
I know.
That's
For a whole weekend, no other food either.
It was protein shake.
It was joints, a protein shake, and tequila. Like that's all there was. I mean, I guess that's a good weekend, but
yeah,
that's it.
We at least bring food in our backpacks and we do random shit. You know what I mean?
We hike a mountain, miles up a mountain, we have tons of food. Yeah, so it was very strange setup, but totally believable. Up until the alien part, and then ultimately it starts like dragging like itself away, and they're all staring at it, watching this trail of ooze go off, and they're like, "Where did it go?" Follow the gooey trail. That's where it went.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
That's what's fun about these characters, because they are that dippy. You know what I mean?
So funny. But then they see it and they're like, we got to get rid of this thing. And I love the density that they keep playing up when they're trying to drag it away and they couldn't get rid of it. It was so heavy. But, this kid, literally a 15-year-old pimply kid, prepubescent or in the middle of his puberty, coming out and he's like, yeah, so I'm just here to do the garden. My brother is supposed to be doing it. And they're like, look, we really want you to get rid of this dead thing. Like, we'll pay you. And we'll even give you access to our photos. He's like, nope, no thanks. Just walks away. I was just like, I think I would be in that same position. I'm not into these girls.
Yeah, there was nothing. Even Charlie, who potentially had boobs, because that's why they hid them, and the other two that didn't. I like boobs, by the way, just in case anyone's interested. That's important, but
tell me more about the boobs. Yeah, we actually got a few nipple shots, but nipple shots without breasts is a little bit strange.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like the last movie Cameron and I reviewed. There was actually a nude scene in it, and I was zoned out. I missed the nude scene, and I had to go back in and watch it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, there it is. I guess that's a nude scene. Yeah, this is these women are. I don't want to body shame anyone. You are who you are, or who you're trying to be, and whatever. It's not me. I don't care. But yeah, I just like a little bit more meat. That's all.
But it's this expectation, that you have to be size 6,
like -3.
to be attractive. Yeah. And it's like, no, it's not. Whoever's telling you that doesn't understand. You might be for a certain demographic, but you're not. Not for most people.
Yeah.
And the movie tried so hard with Deirdre's character, like the whole when she's lying in the bed doing the pan up, and I'm like, for that bit, because that they're trying so hard, and I'm not biting.
Yeah. And that was the whole premise of that character too. She's this sexy social media star, that does like photo shoots and modeling, and I was just like, I don't know. I mean, there are people out there that are into it, so hats off. Not me.
Fair play to you, crack on.
Yeah.
But that's what made me laugh as well, because the thing was trying so hard, and I just, for me, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And it just made me laugh.
I loved that they finally bartered the kiss with the gardener, and that was what he was like okay with, because that dude's never kissed a girl before, and he was like, so with tongue.
Yeah, he just wants the experience. But here, when I was that sort of age, I had really bad acne.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
It was like I had really bad acne when I was like between 13 and 16.
Oh, wow.
It was shocking, really, and it destroys your confidence.
Oh, I bet.
And back in the time when I had hair, I had like the world's largest cowlick, and this mop on my head that would do nothing. So
you were this kid.
I just felt, I felt a lot of sympathy for him. But I love the way he had the whole deadpan acceptance thing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And he's just, well, okay, I can barter here and get something. And he's acting stupid, but he's not.
I almost like I believed his character because he is a product of the social media game, right? So when all you're doing, and we see it constantly with this character when he's on screen for like 3 scenes, where he's just sort of tuned out, flipping through posts in social media or videos or something. And I'm just seeing in my head when he sees something that's supposed to be funny, he's doing like roll on floor laughing, LOL over and over again, but his expression and his countenance is still just sort of detached and withdrawn. So any sort of emotion, it's coming out on the keyboard, but not reflected in him as a person. And that's like everything with social media. We're so desensitized to virtually everything that all you do is just sit here and like, oh, that was hilarious. Great job. Oh, I can't wait to watch that. I'm so excited, and you're just deadpan.
Yeah. That's why I switch off every so often. Just have to,
Yeah.
you have to, and we've talked about this in other things, but, you got to switch off. Got to step away from it. You got to actually feel the breeze.
Mm-hmm.
You got to interact with people. Just do something, whatever it is. Just get away from it.
Yeah.
Understand that you don't need it. Embrace technology's great. Like we're able to sit here from halfway across the world, as if we're in the same living room, chat away, do things. It's fantastic, but it's not your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel sorry for young'uns that, it is their life.
Yeah.
Or people are just, they can't disconnect and they would actually get the DTs as if they're an addict. If it was, you hear the whole thing, broadband rage, where people, their internet cuts out for an hour and they're like,
you don't know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to connect. And we see that reflected in Deidre too. When their phone stops, she's like, I'm dead. It's over. My whole career's over. I've got sponsors, it was the end of the world for her. And it wasn't even like 12 hours that she didn't have connection. I love this so much.
But that's what that game is you start to, you move into that. It's all about hitting the apex.
Mm-hmm.
Same in the workplace and everything else, pure bottom, the middle, you can see growth out there. But once you start hitting the tip of the spear, the apex, to actually move a millimeter requires so much effort, and the thought of standing still is complete anathema. That's why you end up with people ODing and friggin' breaking down and falling apart and doing weird shit because they're still trying to push, but there's nowhere to go to, and they can't stop and smell the roses, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's why people break, and we're seeing this played out here with Deidre, which was fantastic to see. And
so good.
I'm really surprised that that they want to tackle these issues. The director wants to tackle the issue because normally it's just glossed over, and it's just accept, consume, the usual shit that goes out there. So that's why I enjoyed this on a second level. On the tertiary level, it's a comedy, but underneath there is this underlying message as well, which is, like I said, you play it subtly. That's what rattles about people's head. That's what gets you to think, and that's what gets you to reflect. And nobody does that anymore. Nobody thinks about themselves or reflects or looks at their position in life.
Right. Well, the director did state that this film represents how on social media someone can watch one video will lead to something that begins to radicalize them. So this film is a statement from the director. He came into this intentionally knowing how social media can push you in a certain direction. And that's presented very clearly through the characters. And, we see it because we can identify with it. We see it in real life. As a parent, it's a huge problem because kids are given phones at younger and younger ages, and they're exposed to social media at younger ages. I've refused to allow my kids to have any social media until they get, of age of, in my mind, it's 18. My son tricked, he sort of hacked into his phone because I have passwords set up and stuff. And he got it when he was 16. But the point being, especially with my daughter, she's of that age where it, suicide rate of girls, young children, females, has exponentially increased tenfold. That's not hyperbole at all. Like the stats bear it out.
Are
it's crazy
to each other.
They're horrible. And everything online is amplified, especially in social media. Everything is up, turned up to 11. So, they complain that I won't let them have it, but I won't let them have it for very good reasons. Their own mental damn health. These kids don't have fully formed brains. Most people between 18 and 21 won't until that point. And so,
in fact, not even until you're 25.
Yeah, I mean, how can you ever expect to comprehend the minutia of communicating online versus in person, and to think that the online component is the most real when people are the most fake there? I mean, it confuses me.
Because, well, we've seen time and time again, these people giving it big licks. They're the biggest thing on social media, and then we're trying to organise interviews and stuff, and then the flake, and they don't have the actual admin skills. And, and we've been doing this for years now, you know what I mean? And you've seen it. The ones that always giving it the biggest licks and they're the most wonderful person actually don't have basic skills.
Yeah.
And you see it, and then that's when they disappear on you and get nasty and stuff, because then you're not even, you're actually calling them out in their bluff without intentionally doing it.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to actually producing the goods, then it's not there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad, but it's a reality that we have to face and deal with. As far as the film, this is where it really takes a sharp left turn. It went from, presenting this interesting social dynamic between these friends to having this weird catastrophe happen. And then it gets really sexual really fast.
And that was the thing, because they have the alien, it stinks, you know what I mean?
Like,
they don't know what
ass.
it is. It's not even a thing. There's not even remotely, like, it's not as if a friggin' dildo landed on the, you know what I mean? If a dildo had landed and was glowing, and what do you call that movie? Oh shit, I'm thinking back to the movie in the 80s. Remember the three aliens and they were furry and they got shaved?
Oh, with Jeff Goldblum was in it?
Yes.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh gosh, this is gonna bug me.
This is a horror version.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like
that. You know, this is a horror version of that movie.
Mm-hmm. Earth Girls Are Easy. Oh yeah.
Yes. Oh fuck, that was yes. Oh, that was a blast from the past.
So funny.
Yeah, that's what this is.
Yeah. So, and the thing is it's not. It's just this cute, cuddly little creature that it looks like it would just be something you want to feed crackers and just sort of, lay around next to and maybe poke its belly or something. Like,
yeah, it's
just this cute little creature. But it turns out to be a huge sex fiend because its whole point is to spread its seed, hence the name of the film. And Deirdre's the first one that succumbs to its wiles, its charms.
Because she tries to, because this is when we first get introduced to Edna as a character, because Heather and Charlotte go to try and find out, can they get into town to fix the phones and pick up some supplies, because you don't arrive. I still can't get my head around arriving on a taxi in the middle of nowhere with no supplies.
Yeah. Well, and then why wouldn't the parents have stocked up the place before they knew their daughter was going there?
Yeah.
They clearly have staff. They have a gardener coming in, so they have to have a house caretaker. I don't know. That was a little bit weird, yeah.
Yeah, that's just my logical brain.
But getting to that shack, Edna's shack, I mean, she was clearly in the know about some crazy shit coming. She had crazy circled it as if it was, the day she was going to start her period on the calendar. Or maybe for her it was menopause. Like, finally, it's over. Finally.
But while they're doing that, that's where we see the scene with Deirdre. And Deirdre, that's what I'm talking about, the camera pan. They try to pan the camera up the bed, and I'm buckling off and going, you're trying too hard, folks. I know what they're trying to do, but it just wasn't working. So then you laugh.
I slip into
and then she tries to get the rat poison.
Yeah.
Big fucking huge box of rat poison, just in case you didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I'm just laughing.
Of
course, it had to be in a proper glass, not it wasn't like a plastic tumbler or anything. It had to be like a proper swishy glass that she did it in.
I can't imagine that house having plastic anything in it.
No.
It's all stone and wood, natural materials. I love that house. Oh gosh. I'd love to rent it for a weekend.
Yeah, even though it's only 2 bedrooms.
Yeah. So weird. The bed's big enough. I've shared smaller beds with Cameron. We shared a double queen with Darren Deicide and his wife. in the other one, like Queen. I mean, it was very, very.
Oh god, that was the
tight
weekend
space.
I had to work, wasn't it?
Yeah, you missed out,
Yeah,
man.
shit.
That was a good
I
time.
missed it.
That would have been really tight with the three of us in the bed. But we would have spooned and made it work. It would have been like that scene in This Is the End. We're like doing it like
we've bunched up in a tent together. Do you know what I mean?
that's true. Yeah. So she tries to like literally poison him, and that's when he's like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna die." Turn on the charm. We see his pupils dilate, and she's just like, "Oh."
Whoa.
And the next time we see her, she is post-coital, just relaxed and just feeling great.
And that's the bit as well, because the camera keeps they keep trying so hard to make her sexy.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, and they try to get a shot of her boobs, and they zoom in, and they're having to the camera's having to zoom in so hard. I'm just like buckling when she's on the lilo in the pool.
Right.
And they're trying to look, there it is, it's right there. 100 times magnification. Doink.
It's almost like it's not that far from an SNL skit where, like it bumps into her because it's trying to get too close. It's like, oops, sorry, too close.
Yeah, and I don't know whether I think it might have been intentional.
I don't know. I think there are definitely people who are into that.
But I'm not getting a vibe of, how can I put this? It's almost like they're intentionally trying to put in to show the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whether you're being turned on or not, it's almost like the camera's going, look here. Just because it's got a sexual undertone, they're trying to ham that up, but they're also doing it in a comedic way.
Yeah, I mean, just the creature design lends to that too. So I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's just trying to show it maybe should, swollen up a bit because she'd been impregnated.
Oh, that came quick.
I think that's what it was trying to do, but it was just being.
Yeah, those were not swollen. At all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The camera was having to do a lot of work because you just see the zoom come in the second time and it's like something poked up and you're like, all right, is there a wee bit of CGI getting involved now? I know I'm being mean. I'm a bad man, but
you body shamer. But it was interesting because as soon as they came back, it was Heather's turn next. So she walks in on Deirdre that night, and the thing is, the sex organ is like a blanket. It's like
does he hold it in a shell? That's what I never saw it come out. Because it's
well, there was something at some point where it was like under where his junk would be. There's like a hole, and the tentacles came out, which turned into like the big organ blanket.
It was like a mix between tentacles and vagina, and it was like an enveloping.
It's like a prolapsed vagina.
That was
that they crawled in. But then, when they were showing the sex part, they would flash to these scenes of the alien being much more humanoid. So I wanted to ask you about that because I wasn't sure what I was seeing because it flashes so quickly.
I think they were sharing consciousness, and we're actually seeing the alien's plan.
Well, yes, they had that too, but there was a part during the sex where the alien was this muck-covered, actual humanoid shape.
Yes,
I couldn't tell if it was a boy or a girl or.
So do you know why? Because this is a parasite.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know why? Venomous creatures inject the venom to numb the prey.
Yeah.
So basically, what it wants to do is have the host gestate.
Mm-hmm.
So we've already got a hint that it affects the brain. It's actually got into the receptors.
Oh, yeah.
Because the whole I feel great thing and wonderful and chilled, because it's basically being used as a host. I'm trying to think. What do you call that one? Is it the tarantula wasp?
I don't know.
The wasp that basically goes after tarantulas, injects them, and the tarantula basically stays alive until the eggs are born. So essentially, the tarantula gets eaten alive inside out. But for the larva to sustain, it has to keep it alive. So when the bee stings it, the tarantula basically goes into a sort of trance.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I was saying, that the tentacles, I don't think we saw any barbs, but essentially they're being injected with a venom to keep the host subtle and compliant. So it's obviously affecting the brain receptors.
Yeah. Just flooding them with dopamine.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, because we'll get the later scene, but we'll see it getting really played out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's happening. It's injecting because obviously it's getting laying its eggs inside now. I don't think it's a human hybrid. You know what I mean? I think it just lays eggs.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the impression I was getting. So it was obviously staying the host, so they're compliant and they'll carry the eggs through the gestation and not do anything about it.
Yeah.
But the shared consciousness as well, you get the flashbacks of what the alien's actually thinking during this particular scene.
Yeah, I almost want to watch those in like slow motion or watch like the outtakes or maybe an extended cut because I really want to see the sort of craziness. What it reminded me of was Event Horizon. There's this scene where they get onto the Event Horizon that was sort of taken over. It was going to be dragged to hell, and so the crew were like having this murder sex orgy thing, and they did this.
But you didn't see it until the very end.
Yeah, but it was just really quick takes. But it was too quick. Yep. Like I want to see the filth and the vile experience to share the horror that the characters are experiencing and exhibiting. I want to be in that because I'm just a fucking weirdo, gross person. I don't know. I wish it was a little bit longer.
But I think it did a good job of. It did a good job of leaving with your imagination.
Yeah.
Like
which is also the point.
My head was spinning.
Yeah. I don't know.
We don't need everything spelt right out. Do you know what I mean? That was the beauty of this movie.
Yeah.
It comes across as a dumb flick,
more.
but it's not. It's actually really clever.
Yeah. The blanket thing was so weird. It was just what are those blankets that are like it's like a full-blown pajama thing, but it's supposed to be a blanket too. They were big, like I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, they call them snoods or snuggles or something?
Yeah, that's what it made me think of, except in organ form. Because you saw their face come through the hole, and they're just like, ah. So awesome. But as a nipple fan...
It must be the slime. It must be the slime then that goes, it's porous through the skin. That's how he does it.
Yeah, I think it is like a contact.
It's a slime that actually... So... Do you know what it is? I think I figured it out. Oh. So when it first lands, it hasn't been on this planet before. So it doesn't know what it's dealing with.
Right.
So initially it's repugnant, but obviously it has to be around, because there is a connection, because we see it when Charlie kisses the boy, because that's when he opens his eyes, and then there's a bit of sexual energy there, and it immediately picks up on it and amplifies it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is how it's done. Okay.
That's it. So it's like trying to find the key to the safe.
Yeah.
So it comes off and it's repugnant at first because it hasn't got the code yet. And then that kiss scene is actually what wakens it up. If the kiss scene hadn't have happened, I think the girls might have been all right.
Interesting. I mean, we know that they're there to repopulate and sort of spread and take over as parasites do. So I was just trying to. That's interesting. I never thought of it like that. But that doesn't make sense. It just came to me now. That makes sense. That's what it was doing. It was a bit of a combination lock principle. I like that. Okay.
So it was actually a kiss scene.
Thanks, Gardner boy.
In horror movies, there's always that one thing that kicks everything off.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't read from the fucking dusty old book made out of human flesh.
Yeah.
Oh, why are the demons coming?
Like, why are you reading from this book? Yeah.
You don't read it out loud. Anyone knows that, but it has to be that scene. So it was actually the kiss scene that you see the alien open its eyes, and then that's what it knows. Oh, here's the key to the combination lock. Click, right, fucking I'm in.
Yeah. It's DTF.
But when Heather comes in and you see the and she's already caught in, and then she gets caught on it, and it was a beautiful scene. It was
awesome.
It was just so much fun.
It got me going in a really weird way, which I really appreciated.
No, I hear you on that one.
It was really weird. And what I really liked is, we saw them sort of transform into that sort of euphoric state and get almost aggressive, overtly aggressive at the threat of the alien being taken away in any way, because it's theirs, it's ours, we found it, why would you give it away? She freaks out on Charlotte when she even brings up the mention of calling and getting help and having them take the alien away. But that was also not just the physicality reason or the psychological reason. It was also the monetizing reason. She was like, this is content. Why would you?
But she's not even switched on her phone off. You know, I mean, after she's been pregnant. But that's what I'm saying. It's found the combination of it's when it gets into the receptors, because obviously there's like a psychic transference as well as physical. Because we see that played out.
Yeah, it's got to keep.
So she knows her motivations. So it's already known what buttons, and it's sitting click, click, click. Right, you're now my slave. I've programmed into the back of your brain your protective instincts of what'll motivate you to keep me going.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because you see when Charlotte goes down into the room then, because they've had that scene played out. And it's went from laying on his back to it's in the bed, you know, I'm the daddy.
It was straight up pimp, man. It was just chilling.
Just like, I had two, you bitches. You're next.
He's like, oh, you want some of this, baby?
Yeah.
And she started giving into it. I loved that. But she, you know, she sort of fought. And I love that she was able to break free from its connection, go up, question the girls, and when she came back down to kill it, she's like, what are you here for? And it just straight up said, hey, you know, I'm not going to be hurt from you. I'm going to be able to, you know, get you. So I'll just tell you.
Yeah, but we'll have to talk about the bra.
The bra?
Yes.
Go.
Charlotte was wearing a pink bra.
Right.
She pulls off the top and the pink bra magically disappears.
Yeah.
And then magically reappears again.
Yeah. Well, you know, bras are mysterious things.
It's like, okay, right, we get it. You're the one with boobs, and obviously the TV doesn't want us to see boobs because then we'll forget about the other two. Yeah. All right, it's not one or the other. I'm happy to see 3 sets of boobs, even if they're different qualities. You know what I mean? I'm an aficionado. I'm a boob connoisseur, not a boob snob. Do you know what I mean? If you want to throw them all out, different sizes and shapes, I'll look at them, no problem.
Right.
I'm not going to all of a sudden stop looking at the other two.
There's also another scene like that where it was Heather eating the eggs. When we first see her eating the eggs, she has no bra. She has like little plates over her nipples with that little see-through sleeve thing.
Yeah.
But then the next scene, you can see she has a bathing suit on. So it was like off, on, nothing happened. She didn't go change. It's still the same outfit. But yeah, I was.
It's like the sexualized scenes are trying to really ham it up.
Oh yeah.
And then when it's back to normal, it's like, just leave it at that. I don't know what they're.
Yeah.
I don't know what the thinking was behind it.
This film is so great because it has so many different tones that it carries us through as the audience. You know, it starts off as this sort of getaway party. It turns into this sci-fi experience, and then it turns to this sexualized horror. And then it just turns into this sort of survival game. I mean, it's so brilliantly done and wonderfully executed. I loved the part where we start to see the pregnancy show, and they are just losing their shit because they don't understand. They feel great, but then they, you know, even when they're experiencing these horrible convulsions and, you know, distended belly from the seeds, the sperm, the eggs multiplying in their body, like they still feel good even though it hurts. And I love that idea because I don't know how weird everyone else is, but I like a little bit of pain, you know, like I connected with that, like that weirdness in a very strange way.
But that's back to like I said, the hawk tarantula wasp or something it's called. Right. I'm going to get the name. I'll scream it out before the end of this. The episode is bugging the shit out of me. Yeah. Somebody in the chat, look it up.
We're too busy. We have the internet in front of us. We could just look it up.
Yeah, but then I'll just be sitting here on the fucking. There it is.
Click, click.
No, so they've been doped up, but at the same time, back to the whole, he's making a statement about social media.
Mm-hmm.
What was more horrifying to them was not the fact that they were pregnant and about to give birth to an alien and had sex with an alien species, not even human, but the fact that they weren't going to get clicks and likes anymore was what brought them out of it.
So
do you know what I mean? Not the fact that they're being used as freaking egg sacs, but the fact that they weren't going to get clicks and likes anymore. That's what kind of snapped them out of it.
It's funny. So
and it just once again, it's that subtle message that the director wanted to make a point, but he wasn't beating you over the head with it.
Yeah, he was having fun. He was having a good time with
it. Just having fun.
I can't wait to see what he does next. I'm going to be following him.
Yeah, I want to keep tabs. This is what Shudder's for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the whole point of the platform, is to give these directors a shot, and then it's up to them what they make out of it. And like I said, last year we had some real stinkers, but this year's really, really picked up. It's actually been an enjoyable game.
Yeah, I've been having a
Worth
good
having
time. Well, the problem with this is that, you know, you're this whole channel is dedicated to horror, but there's too many films. There's too much, you know, I've seen in the past month like 4 really great horror films I would love to talk about, this being one of them. But I just don't have the time, so we have to sort of pick and choose, you know, what we want to do. And then there's other stuff we want to talk about, just not just horror films. You know, next week we're going to be doing a novel. There's comics I want to talk about. There's video games I want to talk about. And it's just like trying to align schedules and find the time to do all this, because we have so much great stuff out there. You know, even though there's a lot of shit, there's still good stuff that we can talk about and have fun with.
But even with the shit, you know what I mean? You can still get something out of it.
Oh, yeah. You can still have
And
fun.
it's almost as important to see a bad movie or read a bad book or play a bad game so that you know what the worst is like.
Yeah.
So when you play a good one, you
yeah.
see, you know what I mean? You get good media, you can appreciate it. So it's not a wasted... it's funny, people will sit in front of a screen, and that's what this movie highlights. People just sit vapidly, click, 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 while away hours, but they're terrified of picking up a book in case they waste their time, or they're terrified of going to a movie if they don't read 100 reviews of it in case they waste their time. Yeah. And that's what just makes me buckle with laughter.
The bitter irony. All you're doing is wasting your time. Yeah, no, 100%. I love it.
Just makes me laugh. Where we got to in this movie?
Let's get to the survival part, because it gets brutal quick.
Yeah, there's no fucking about with this movie, and it's not done in like 3 hours, because it seems to be Hollywood can't tell a movie now in like less than 3 hours.
You'd think, yeah.
Where now we've got, you know, I mean, we're back to directors with 90 minutes of, you know, going balls to the wall and bringing you along. Yeah, go for it, because then Charlotte actually confronts the alien. And what was that? That was like an African thing or something, the weapon, but that's...
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like an African game, like a bat or something.
I can't remember. They never actually said what it was, because they don't know it was their father. You know what I mean? It's
a cool looking tool.
Yeah, it looks great. But she dispatches the alien, so that is no longer a threat.
So good.
But it doesn't mean it's anywhere near the end of the movie.
There were 2 points that I thought this film could have ended, and we'll get to it in a second. And I almost think it would have been better if it ended with the first possible ending. But yeah, so after she kills the alien, she goes after her friends, because she knows that they are hosts and this seed will spread and take over the planet. And the just the brutality of her chasing down and running over Heather and then taking that stick to her. Holy shit, that was brutal. And my wife next to me, she watched it the second time with me too, and she was just like, hit it in the stomach. I was like, who the hell are you? This vicious woman.
But we've been set up at the beginning because the animosity between them. Do you know what I mean? They're kind of friends because they feel they have to, because they've known each other in school. And there's underlining resentment towards each other. And why they're friends is one of those mysteries.
Dude, brutal.
But they are, and then that's where it all comes out, when you have that moment of, fucking 20 years you've been calling me this.
It was so crazy. And I love gore. I love splatter stuff. They did a great job with these kill scenes. It started with the alien. When she killed that alien, like, she could have stopped 5 smashes ago, you know? She was just like blood or goo or whatever the hell it was splashing everywhere, and it was just this meaty pile at the end. I was like, well done. Wow. You certainly went for it.
But it's that whole like, there's nothing worse. Like, I'm going to remember back years ago when I used to go out to bars and stuff, but there's nothing worse than repressed sexual energy and anger.
It's true.
And that's why most fights start in a bar, because you know, horny blokes basically, you know, don't get their way, and that, you know, so she's been touched with this like sexual energy.
Interesting.
And just felt violated by it as well, and then everything's just come out. You know what I mean? There's nothing. People, I don't think, everyone's trying to play sex down now as if it's just a thing, but it's still an intimate act.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie plays with. People think that sex is something you switch off and on, but look at any alternative group, and you just have to see the amount of drama in them. knows that it's a case. Anyone who tries to be edgy or alternative, that they just have sex and do all this kinky stuff. Yet within those groups, the amount of infighting and bitching is shocking because it's repressed. You know what I mean? It's repressed sexual energy.
Okay.
And they're not just admitting, I'm a horny fucker, I'm not getting any, I want to get some. Do you know what I mean? And
I do.
They try and dress it up in other shit, but at the same time, that's why you see so much bitching where if somebody's getting on a regular basis, they're happy, they're chill, they can crack on, or somebody knows how to masturbate properly. You know what I mean? You can fucking help yourself out. You know?
Men and women, do us all a favor. If you're getting all angsty and angry, just go rub one out.
Yeah, just go get out of your system. Fucking
get rid of the poison and then come back and we can have a drink.
breathe.
Yeah, when she took that bat to Heather, I was shocked. It was perfect for what it was.
And Heather was the one she was close to.
I know.
If
that's
going
why
to
it
go
was
for anyone first.
It was
would
so
have been
brutal.
Deirdre.
Yeah. I think it was just because I don't know. I don't know why they did. You know, she's the real villain of this show. You know, from just being a normal human being to being the alien host. So I get why they wanted to leave her to be the last one. You know, especially with that final line that she gives, which was just beautiful. So I get that. But then, you know, she couldn't start up the little go-kart or golf cart or whatever it was. And she just started like walking after Deirdre. And I was just like, this is so good. This reminds me of another film that I can't remember the name of that I saw on Shudder, where it was this woman who was violated by these guys in this isolated remote place, very much like the one in this film. And then she goes and takes revenge on them. You know, sort of like I Spit on Your Grave.
Was it French?
I think so, yeah.
Did they speak French in it?
I think so.
Did it have a paintballing scene?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, fuck it. That film was... I was going to talk about that last year because that film was great until the last fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah. But still, like, that's what it started. Like, I immediately started to connect with that sort of... This girl takes revenge, but it's revenge on her own friends because they became something that she could not abide.
Oh, no, it's not that film. Sorry. It's not that one. I'm thinking of... No, a completely different one in Shudder.
Well, that's fine. I mean, we can...
Yeah. Oh, fuck, there's so many. That's the problem. Yeah. When you watch so many movies...
It's a great problem.
The plots get fucking rattled about in here, and the characters get mixed up. That's what people don't understand. That's why you have to read... That's why you have to take time and actually watch the movie again before you review it. And that's why I have to take notes, because if you don't, I do it all the time in our monthly segment, is I start getting plots mixed up with movies I've seen 30 years ago. Because they all kind of gel together, because there's different elements that remind you of something else. And then I go off on a tangent, and then Cameron's like, Colin, get back on track.
He's like, whoa, come back to me. Come back to this. Come to the light. Yeah, well, that's why I like to do these where it's just one film we're talking about, so it's easier for me. I don't fall on so many tangents as I normally would. Yeah, that final scene where she beats the shit out of Deirdre and is ready to kill her, and the cowboy just steps in from the grinder scene or whatever the app is called that she was, called back earlier in the film, and he's just like, what the hell? And then he ends up shooting her. He's like, that bitch was gonna kill you. It's just like
he shot her from like 50 meters.
Yeah, I love.
I know I'm a terrible shot, but fucking hell, he doesn't hit her in the head or the center.
Yeah, right in the.
And he's actually walking distance.
Yeah, he should have been able to like put her down easily. But that I thought would have been a great ending. Like I thought, just her laying on the ground, and they sort of did that sky, the bird's eye view of panning up from her dead body. I was like, okay, this is the end. This is a great end, because we already know the outcome. The seeds are going to take over and repopulate the rest of the planet. Humanity is doomed. And that's the ultimate message anyway. And so if that was going to be the end no matter what, this is a perfect way to encapsulate. She tries to stop it. She's unsuccessful. It is going to see its end. But she gets back up, and it's fine because it's still a good second ending. And she walks up and she sees the cowboy with his stomach ripped apart, and Deirdre's just like mutating. She's this abomination now. But that final thing of, I feel so good, or whatever it is she says, was so beautiful. Ugh. I loved it.
Yep, and that's what I'm talking about, the hawk wasp. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the wasp. Yeah, Tarantula hawk wasp.
Okay.
Tarantula hawk is a spider wasp that preys on tarantulas. And essentially what it does, it stings them. Parasitoid wasps. So they use their sting to paralyze their prey before dragging it to the brood nest as living food.
Ugh.
A single egg is laid in the prey, hatching to a larva which eats the still living prey.
Ugh. Yeah.
And they're found in all continents other than Antarctica, so you can get them anywhere.
I'm gonna have to move now.
So that's what it does. That's essentially what's happening here. And Deirdre is living prey. She's been eaten alive from the inside out. Like, she's not giving birth to these things. They're going to explode out of her. And instead of being one egg, it's a clutch of eggs.
Bunch of eggs.
I actually wrote one of my stories is based on that.
Oh, really? Ugh. Ugh. Nature's
the
filthy.
trapeze. Yeah,
nature is just.
That was the trapeze. That's why I wrote that whole story. Nasty ending.
Yeah. So, what did you think about the ending? Like, were you happy with it?
No, if you want to see messed up stuff, just go to nature.
Yeah.
I was. It was a bit of a sci-fi channel ending though when she looked up and saw the rest of the seeds landing at the same time. That was a bit cheesy for me. But the fact that she's sitting there completely messed up, and the fact that the venom is still working on her, and she's just completely checked out at this point. I mean, she's basically alive, and she's about to spew.
Yeah,
it's about to happen. So the gestation period's pretty quick, which is also terrifying as well.
Yeah,
it was just that bit of the scene at the end when we see the moor landing. I think that was a bit much. Kind of took me away for a second.
Yeah,
because we knew that was the case. Because if they had have done it at the start, where they're all landing, would have got the fact that, or over the radio, the Cowboys radio had been playing about stay away from these things.
Yeah,
would have worked just as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't disappointed. I've thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and the fact that I still enjoyed it after a second watch, says it all. That's the acid test. If you can go back into a movie again the second time and watch it and still enjoy it, then it's done its job.
Absolutely. Yeah, I turned this film off and I kept thinking about it, and that's my cue. Like if I'm still thinking about it a day later, then I know I loved it. I knew it was a good film for me. The first time I watched it, I was thinking about it for a while, and then you had mentioned it as a sort of like offhanded question if I watched it, and it immediately flooded back in my mind. I was like, yes, oh my gosh, that was a great film. And then we decided to do this. I mean, it's an enjoyable watch. It's weird as
only
fuck.
came out a couple of weeks ago. It's actually pretty recent.
Yeah, it's not old at all. It's still in the featured section of Shudder. It was a good time, and I'm really, really glad I watched it, and I watched it again. I love sitting here talking about it with you. What's your favorite part of this film?
Oh God, now there's a I think it would have to be the sex scene.
Yeah,
with the three of them.
Yeah.
Because that was so trippy. That was and I can see with the man who fell to the earth. That was David Bowie shit all over it. And I actually prefer David Bowie's movies to his music.
Oh, really?
Because like The Hunger.
Yeah, it's great.
You know what I mean? Merry Christmas, Mr. Thomas.
I don't think I've seen any of his other ones other than The Hunger.
So that's a World War II, basically British POWs in the Japanese camp.
Right.
But essentially, it's a normal movie until it has the David Bowie trippy scene because he's he's well renowned for it.
Because he's him.
The man who fell to the earth. Come on, the pissing scene. That was the first time that shown an actual girl pissing herself because she saw him as an alien. She'd been boning him for like most of the movie, and then she discovers he's an alien. She fucking that scene's iconic.
Awesome.
Oh shit! Oh god, I'd need to go back through. But David Bowie movies they're just notorious for that kind of trippy vibe to them.
Yeah.
And that's what it got. I can see where the influence comes from.
Nice. Yeah, I got
and then Deirdre Tyson Heather in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great. I think that's my favorite scene as well, because it reminded me of Event Horizon, which is one of my all-time favorite horror films. Top 10 or 15. Yeah. Oh gosh, it was so good. It was so weird.
Like we won't need eyes. We don't need eyes where we're going.
Yeah. Oh gosh. It's just the whole film, and it still holds up too. That's the thing. It's just a great one. So it reminded me of that. And
this will hold up.
So it's a good. What?
I see this getting a cult following. I think if
I hope
more
it's
people,
worthy of it.
especially in the horror genre,
Yeah.
get out, this'll last. Because my whole thing, especially over the last couple of years, is I'm just worried about content creation, filmmaking in general,
Yeah.
art, because it's become so disposable that there's movies I'm watching, I'm forgetting about them before they're even finished.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad because the whole point of art, and whatever format it takes, is to provoke a response, just to get there in your in your mind and make you think.
Yeah.
Or even if it's just to make you laugh for 90 minutes, so be it. At least you're having an emotional reaction.
Yeah.
But there's just so much bland, beige shit being put out now. It does make me worry. And Shudder was guilty of that. Like, last year was horrendous.
I mean, they can only feature what's being made. You know, I mean, it's not
absolutely.
Really...
You know what I mean? You're rocking a hard place. You know what I mean? You're trying to create content. You can only take what you're given, to a sense. But I'm glad at least there's more stuff coming out now, and they're actually able to cherry pick more of the quality stuff out there.
Yeah.
And I hope it continues.
It will. I'm sure it will. Let's talk about your least favorite part about this.
Yeah. I think the whole, when they're by the pool pretending to have fun, and you know they're not because it's a badly made scene, but just it was kind of depressing. You know what I mean? They're getting themselves coked up, they're taking pills and everything else, and they're just trying to have fun, but they're not, because they're broken. And you can it was actually kind of a depressing scene.
Yeah.
Because you know these are three broken people trying to find something that they've lost, and they don't know how to get back to it. And it was kind of tragic.
Interesting.
That was actually the most tragic scene out of the whole movie, was they're forcing themselves to have fun, and they can't.
Huh. Yeah, okay.
So if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I think it was that we saw Edna with a shotgun blast. We saw that she was clearly studying this species, but it never went anywhere. Like, you know how...
No, I never saw the dog, thankfully.
Yeah,
that's
that would have been horrible.
Pisses me off.
I don't mind animal death as much as Cameron does, and you know, maybe you do as well. I don't mind it, you know, as long as it's done for a reason and it's not just because we want to murder an animal in the film. You know, then I'm fine with it. But when Cloverfield first came out, they were talking about how the sequel to it was actually just going to be from a different perspective. It was going to be following different people with the exact same world event going on. And, you know, you would just explore it from a different viewpoint. I want that with this film. I want a sequel to be made where it's like Edna, and we get to see her exploration, because it was very The Thing, you know, they came into this
that would be
other
actually
place.
quite cool, yeah.
Yeah. You know, they came into this other camp, this Norwegian camp in The Thing, and they see that they clearly had some shit going on. They had discovered this alien thing in the ice. And then, you know, that we understand that there's this whole other film that happened, this whole other event that happened that preceded their own madness and horror. That's what happened here, you know, and I just want to explore that a little more. And that's, you know, credit to the writer and the director for the story building, because clearly there's world events happening and there's a history to this event. I want that story so bad. I don't know. It'd be cool.
At the same time, though, don't beat a dead horse. Do you know what I mean?
Right, but it could be done in a whole different way. It's not going to be the three girls, you know. It's going to be Edna and sort of her story. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool. And to have it end with that depressing moment of her pulling the trigger. I mean, no, yeah. And then what if her dog was the one that got impregnated? You know, and that's why she ended up killing herself, because she saw that these alien species adapted to whatever animal for reproduction. God, there's just so much opportunity of weirdness in this world.
Yeah, it could really, this could be an accidental franchise.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it'd be so cool.
As long as the problem is, though, if it gets too big, then the fucking Eye of Hollywood will descend upon it like the Eye of Sauron.
Yeah.
And then they'll start fucking throwing their politics in and all this bullshit and ruin it. So this needs to stay low budget, niche movie. It needs to be a B movie still, because this is definitely a B movie.
Yeah.
And it needs to not get big enough to get the attention of Hollywood.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if they want to do like a comic, you know, a 4-run comic, or, you know, a short story or something to explain it, I'd be happy with that too.
Yeah, that would be actually cool. Do like an expanded universe.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, that would be quite cool. Hope you're listening, by the way, and we want a case of beer each if you do this.
Yeah.
It's at the very minimum.
All right. Well, IMDb gave it 4.7 out of 10, which I think is a travesty. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 52% rotten and only a 14% audience score, which what the fuck? I don't understand that at all.
It's too clever. That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't know.
It's shining a light on the audience, because the sort of audience that go to IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes is no longer a platform because it's got infested with so much shit.
Yeah.
And trying to push a narrative, like we saw it from fucking Jar Jar Abrams, and you brought him up.
Oh, I don't want to.
Yeah, let's not go down that road. That's another hour half of bitching. But yeah, they're no longer. They're McDonald's. You know what I mean? They're the chain fucking food franchise of movies.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to say. Buy this shit and listen to our opinion. I don't even look at them anymore. But no, this movie is worth so much more.
Yeah.
It's an absolute gem.
Well, let's talk about ratings then. What did you give this?
I give it 5.
5, nice.
Because, especially on the second watching, still enjoyed it.
Yep.
I'd watch it again, no problem. You've got me excited, even talking about even like comic series or something spin off from it. I would actually enjoy that.
I would totally love it. I would love it
be so much fun.
I would totally cover that book if it was ever written, or a short story or whatever. Oh, I would love a radio drama. You know, like an old school 1920s radio drama of it, like War of the Worlds style.
I'm familiar with those. Yeah,
that'd be cool. Then. All right. Yeah,
I gave it started in this shit. Remember?
Yeah. Seriously. I gave it 4 knives in the back, only because I want more and I didn't get more. It's a good problem to have, but I thought this was a wonderful film, and it's definitely worth a watch. And if you're into weird stuff, it gives you it. If you're into just gross sort of body horror stuff, it gives you it. If you're just into, just catty, weird girls bitching at each other and murdering each other, it gives you that. Gives you everything. It's great. Love it. So anyway, great film. Is there anything else you wanted to cover with this thing?
I don't know. Just check it out, folks. Honestly, it's well worth it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this Haunted Grove, a horrific podcast. The only way you can find out when the next Haunted Grove episode is creeping up through the shadows, waiting to jump out and impregnate you, boop, is by subscribing, clicking the bell. And do us a favor. Show some class. Click the like button. All right, everyone.
And remember,
yeah,
if you want to survive between now and our next episode, stay away from aliens. And no matter how much you want to have sex with them, don't.
Or maybe just make sure it wears a condom.
I'll have some condom for that thing.